Lee Sonhwa, a 70-year-old retired teacher, lived alone in an old hanok on Seoul's outskirts. 3 years had passed since her husband Kong Taejin's death, yet she remained in their decades-old home. Though weathered, the courtyard still bloomed with seasonal flowers, forsythia and azaleas in spring, balsam and coxcomb in summer, chrysanthemums in autumn. Each morning, Sonhwa sat on the wooden porch watching the courtyard. Sparrows chirped and magpies cawed, reminding her of Taejin's words. "Honey, isn't our courtyard wonderful? Even the birds love it." Taejin had cultivated a small vegetable garden with lettuce and sesame leaves, while Sonhwa tended her flower beds. Those evening hours spent watering plants and sharing stories were precious memories. This house wasn't mere real estate, it was their life's foundation. They'd lived here since their newlywed days, raised their son Minho, and watched granddaughter Yujin take her first steps on this very porch. Family history was embedded in every corner. Their son Kong Minho, a 45-year-old lawyer with 20 years' experience, faced mounting troubles. He'd missed opportunities at major firms while colleagues became partners. Recent lawsuit defeats brought substantial compensation demands from clients. His wife Yoon Karen, 42, ran an online shopping mall that had flourished recently. Success had inflated her vanity. She spent lavishly on luxury handbags, jewelry, and cosmetics, attending elite social gatherings to maintain appearances. "We need to reduce this month's credit card bills," Minho would say carefully. "I'm spending my own earnings." "You should earn more instead," Karen would retort angrily. Such arguments tormented Minho. While peers owned Gangnam apartments and foreign cars, his debts snowballed beyond manageable monthly interest payments. Karen's spending continued relentlessly. She proudly held department store VIP status and frequently dined at expensive restaurants with friends, posting luxury items and gourmet food photos daily on social media. That evening, Minho's family visited for dinner. Sonhwa had prepared Yujin's favorite braised ribs and mixed vegetables. The table was laden with kimchi, seasoned vegetables, and soybean paste stew. "Grandma, the ribs are delicious," 13-year-old Yujin exclaimed brightly. She adored her grandmother, having spent countless childhood hours in this house. "Really? Eat plenty. Grandma made it specially for you," Sonhwa replied, adding another rib to her granddaughter's bowl. Seeing family gathered warmed her heart and eased her loneliness. Though Minho and Karen conversed during dinner, tension lingered between them. Sonhwa sensed the household atmosphere had changed, but chose to observe quietly rather than interfere. "Yujin, how's school lately?" Sonhwa asked, guiding conversation. "Good. I'm making new friends this semester." "But," Yujin hesitated, glancing at her mother. Karen stopped eating and looked at her daughter, causing Yujin's confusion. "What's wrong?" Sonhwa pressed. "Oh, nothing." Yujin shook her head, though clearly wanting to speak. Karen intervened quickly. "Yujin, stay quiet during meals." "But Mom." "Enough. Eat quickly." Awkward silence followed. Sonhwa sensed something amiss, but didn't pry, steering toward other topics instead. Near dinner's end, Yujin's casual comment struck Sonhwa's heart like lightning. "Mom said Grandma's house will be sold soon." Sonhwa's chopsticks froze mid-air. Her hand stopped, kimchi suspended. Minho and Karen's faces hardened simultaneously as silence descended. "Yujin." Karen scolded sharply. "You misspoke. Don't say anything." "But Mom said." "Stop." Sonhwa forced a smile though her hands trembled. Setting down her chopsticks, she sipped water from her glass. Her throat suddenly parched. What do you mean, Yujin?" Her voice quavered slightly. "Grandma, I'm sorry. Maybe I heard wrong." Yujin apologized frantically. But the words were already spoken. Minho intervened hastily. Mother, Eugen made a mistake. Don't worry about it. Oh, I see. Though Songhua nodded, confusion swirled within. Was Minho really considering selling the house? Or had Eugen truly misunderstood? That night, after her family departed, Songhua couldn't sleep. Eugen's words circled endlessly in her mind. Even lying in bed, her eyes wouldn't close. She tried reassuring herself perhaps young Eugen had misunderstood adult conversations, or remembered something incorrectly entirely. Yet Minho and Karen's panicked expressions haunted her. Especially Karen's urgent silencing of her daughter. If nothing was wrong, why such alarm? The clock showed 2 a.m. Rising, Songhua entered the living room, where Taejan's orchids stood dimly visible in moonlight streaming through windows. Honey, what should I do? She whispered alone, hearing only wind rustling leaves outside. In the courtyard under starlit skies. She missed those evenings watching stars with Taejan from this porch. Then, life was peaceful without such worries. Now everything fell to her alone. Standing in the courtyard's center, she surveyed her home. The 50-year-old Hanek's eaves curved elegantly in moonlight, while apartment complexes under construction loomed beyond the walls. Dawn approached as Songhua returned inside, still sleepless. Tomorrow, she would confront Minho directly. Perhaps her fears were groundless, but she needed certainty. If he truly planned selling, she must understand why and express her feelings. Yet fear gripped her. What if such plans existed? Could she dissuade him? Would she eventually have to leave? Such thoughts cascaded endlessly. Closing her eyes, breathing deeply, she decided tomorrow's worries belonged to tomorrow. Sleep was needed now, but peace eluded her. Eugen's words echoed persistently, "Grandma's house will be sold soon." With those words came images of Minho and Karen's panic. Karen's desperate intervention. Something was happening, something progressing without her knowledge. Burying her face in the pillow, Songhua sighed deeply. How she missed Taejan during such difficult moments. Outside, dawn light began filtering through. Another long night passed, but an even longer day awaited conversation with her son. And an uncertain future ahead. Mother, hello. Come in. Is something urgent? No, I just wanted to see you. Minho smiled brightly entering the living room. But Songhua sensed something different, a forced smile hiding something. How have you been? Is your health okay? I'm getting by fine. How about you? Very busy with work lately? Managing somehow. Minho sipped tea while exchanging pleasantries about weather, health, and neighborhood news. But Songhua intuited he had another purpose. This wasn't like him to visit suddenly for casual conversation. About what Eugen said last time. Were you offended? Minho began carefully. What did she say? Songhua feigned ignorance, knowing exactly what he meant. About selling the house. The child must have misheard adult conversation. Really? So she misunderstood. Songhua studied her son's expression closely. His eyes wavered momentarily before steadying. Yes, of course. Why would we sell Mother's house? But his words lacked conviction. Songhua had raised this child for over 50 years. She knew his lying expression, the same face he'd made since childhood when caught misbehaving. After discussing other topics, Minho slyly approached his real point. Mother, isn't this house rather large for living alone? His tone remained gentle, but Songhua recognized his true intentions emerging. Large? It's been our lifelong home. I mean, it's difficult managing alone now. Even maintaining the courtyard must be overwhelming. Minho gradually steered conversation toward his desired direction. I'm fine. I enjoy gardening and managing the house. But as you age, it'll become increasingly difficult. Shouldn't we prepare in advance? Songhua sensed where he was heading but wouldn't surrender easily. What preparation? Well, hypothetically speaking, consider moving somewhere more convenient. Caution crept into Minho's voice, like handling explosives carefully. More convenient? Yes, today's apartments are wonderful. Elevators, security, maintenance services. Much more comfortable for someone your age. Sonhwa felt Minho beginning to reveal his plan, still disguised as concern for his mother. I like it here. Why should I leave my lifelong home? Of course I understand your attachment. But think realistically. This house is too large for you alone, and maintenance costs aren't trivial. I can manage the expenses. Perhaps now, but who knows about the future? Minho's tone shifted toward persuasion, losing initial caution and becoming more aggressive. And mother, honestly speaking. Minho hesitated briefly before continuing. Property values in this area have risen significantly. With the new subway station and development plans, this might be perfect timing. Finally, his true intentions emerged. Sonhwa saw his expression change from caring son to calculating businessman. Timing for what? Why not settle here and move to a smaller apartment? We'll invest the remaining money well for you. Hearing this, Sonhwa's heart sank. So this was her son's real purpose. Invest it well? Yes, there are excellent investment opportunities now. Funds, stocks that could generate profits. Minho began explaining increasingly specific plans, as if everything was already arranged. I researched this house's market value. It's risen more than expected. After moving to a smaller apartment, considerable money would remain. Sonhwa was shocked that her son had already investigated property values. How long had he been planning this? This house is your father's legacy. Sonhwa's voice became firm. My entire life is contained within it. Mother, but what? This is where you were born and raised. Where your father and I spent our lives together. How can you reduce it to mere money? Minho looked momentarily flustered, seemingly unprepared for such strong resistance. Of course memories are precious. But think realistically. Realistically? Anger began creeping into Sonhwa's voice. Do you think I'm some ignorant old woman who doesn't understand reality? That's not what I meant. Then what? I don't understand why you're saying this. Minho paused briefly, then his expression gradually changed. The moment his hidden true face emerged. Mother, I'll be honest. Minho's voice turned cold, revealing the greed hidden behind his perpetually dignified lawyer's facade. We're not financially comfortable either. The economy's bad, child education costs, Karen's business funds. Money's needed everywhere. He began confessing his real motives. Is it right for you to occupy such a large house alone while leaving assets unused? You're just letting valuable property sit idle. Assets? Unused? Sonhwa was horrified by how her son characterized her home. Yes, exactly. You have memories here, but for us it's property requiring management. Taxes, constant repairs. So settling this would benefit everyone. Minho's eyes grew coldly calculating. Mother, nothing in this world is permanent. Managing assets properly is true filial piety. Hearing this, Sonhwa felt her body turn ice cold. Managing assets was filial piety? Then what had her lifelong devotion to this house meant? Filial piety? Sonhwa's voice trembled. Yes, helping you live comfortably is filial piety. Is that your idea of filial piety? Sonhwa felt the blade disguised as filial duty. Her son was justifying his greed under the pretense of caring for his mother. Minho, Sonhwa's voice quieted. When did I raise you to be like this? Mother, what do you mean? Would your father have heard such words if he were alive? Minho's expression wavered momentarily before hardening again. Father's already gone. Now we must think realistically. Realistically. Sonhwa repeated the word. To her son, this house was merely property to be handled realistically. 50 years of memories, father's traces. Mother's heart all meaningless before reality. I understand, Sonhwa said quietly. I understand your heart. So you'll consider it? Hope flickered in Minho's eyes. No. Sonhwa's answer was firm. Absolutely not. Mother, this house will never be sold. Minho's face contorted as suppressed irritation emerged. Mother, why are you being so stubborn? Stubborn? We're saying this for your benefit. For my benefit? Sonhwa laughed, but the sound carried loneliness. Do you really think you're speaking for my benefit? Minho was momentarily speechless. His mother's gaze pierced through his pretense too clearly. Mother, enough. Sonhwa raised her hand, stopping her son's words. Say no more. I understand your heart completely. Really for your benefit. Stop. Power entered Sonhwa's voice. You claim to act for me, yet never ask what I actually want. Minho couldn't respond. She was right, he'd considered only his own needs from beginning to end. This house isn't just property to me. It's the home your father and I built together, where you were raised. Containing our family's history. Sonhwa's voice shook. How could I exchange that for money? Minho bowed his head but seemed unwilling to give up. Mother, but reality is. What reality? Sonhwa shouted. Is your reality needing money? So you'll sell your mother's house to solve your problems? At those words, Minho's face reddened. His true feelings were exposed. I have no choice. Minho suddenly yelled. Do you know how much debt we have? Karen talks about money daily. Eugen's education costs skyrocket. How can I handle this alone? Finally, the real reason exploded out. So you'll sell your mother's house to solve it? There's no other way. Settling this house would solve everything. Solve everything? Sonhwa looked at her son with disbelief. So you want to evict your mother? Not evict. Then what? Aren't you sending me elsewhere? Minho couldn't answer because that was exactly right. We'll find you a nice apartment. You'll be more comfortable. Comfortable. Sonhwa sighed. Comfortable for you, maybe. With mother quietly tucked away somewhere. Don't say such things. Why not? It's true. Deep disappointment colored Sonhwa's voice. What you want is for me to leave this house, isn't it? Minho could no longer make excuses. His true face was completely exposed before his mother. After Minho left that day, Sonhwa couldn't sleep. Her son's voice echoed in her ears. Settle the house, wasn't that ultimately saying he'd evict her? Sonhwa lay in bed staring at the ceiling, heart heavy. She understood her son's financial difficulties, but couldn't accept using his mother's home as collateral to solve problems. That child once cried in my arms, and now he wants to cast me out. Memories flooded back of nursing sick little Minho through nights, packing his school lunches, working every job to afford his university tuition. Then she'd have done anything for this child. She had lived that way, supporting him to become a lawyer, providing wedding preparations. But now that son was telling her to sell her house, disguising it as filial piety. Did I raise him wrong? Sonhwa blamed herself. Had she given too much? Did he now take everything for granted? Going to the living room, she gazed at her husband's photograph. Honey, was our son always like this? The photo showed her husband's gentle smile, but no answer came. Past 5 a.m., Sonhwa finally dozed fitfully. Even in dreams, conversations with her son repeated. Mother, settle the house. Managing assets properly is filial piety. Think realistically. Such words continued even in dreams, each time causing heartache. Waking that morning, Sonhwa's resolve had solidified. She would absolutely never sell the house. No matter how difficult things became for her son. No matter how he persuaded her, she wouldn't waver. Mother, it's me. Karen's voice. Sonhwa was surprised her daughter-in-law rarely visited alone. Usually coming with Minho or Eugen, or only on special occasions. Come in. What brings you here suddenly? Where's Minho? My husband's at his office. I came alone. Karen's tone felt colder than usual. She'd previously maintained courtesy, calling her mother-in-law, but today seemed annoyed even saying mother. Would you like some tea? No thanks. I'm not staying long. Karen entered the living room, surveying the house like a real estate appraiser, examining every corner closely. Sit down. When Sonhwa pointed to the sofa, Karen reluctantly sat on the edge without leaning back, clearly wanting to finish business quickly. What brings you here? You seem to have misunderstood what Minho said. Karen's opening words were aggressive. Sonhwa wondered why her daughter-in-law adopted such an attitude. What do you mean? About settling the house. Karen spoke directly, like handling business, without euphemisms. Ah, that matter. Yes, that matter. I heard you refused? I did. Sonhwa was confused by her daughter-in-law's attitude. Usually Karen maintained superficial courtesy. But today seemed completely different. Why? Why what? Why did you refuse? Irritation began creeping into Karen's voice. It's my house. Why should I sell it? It is your house. For now. Karen spoke meaningfully. For now? Mother, let me be honest. Karen crossed her legs and began earnestly. We'll inherit this house eventually anyway. Sonhwa's face hardened. She hadn't expected her daughter-in-law to mention inheritance so directly. So why are you being so stubborn until now? Stubborn? Yes, stubborn. We have our own lives. You should think realistically. Karen's tone grew increasingly arrogant, as if lecturing her mother-in-law. Realistically? Sonhwa echoed. Yes, realistically. You're already over 70, and we're still young. We need money now. Should I sell my house because you need money? Of course. Karen's answer came as if obvious. We're taking care of you. Shouldn't you do that much for us? Taking care of me? Sonhwa was dumbfounded. When had Karen claimed to care for her? Of course. We visit during holidays, check on you occasionally. That's taking care of me? What more should we do? Karen's eyes held coldness, suggesting one old person could be discarded. Mother, honestly, caring for you is burdensome. At those words, Sonhwa's heart sank. Burdensome? Yes, burdensome. Coming every holiday. Remembering birthdays, worrying whenever something happens. Frankly, it's stressful. Karen spoke without any shame, as if stating the obvious. But if you can't even settle this one house, what can we expect? Sonhwa was speechless. She'd never dreamed her daughter-in-law would speak so brazenly. And honestly speaking, Karen continued, this neighborhood is mediocre, and the house is too old. Who lives in such hammocks nowadays? This house is mediocre? Yes, mediocre. Inconvenient and inefficient. I really don't understand why you insist on living in such a place. Sonhwa suppressed rising anger. She felt all her affection and memories for this house were being dismissed. This is where your husband was born. So what? Must we cling to birthplaces forever? And Eugen also. Eugen what? Eugen finds visiting grandmother's house bothersome now. All her friends live in apartments, but grandmother's house is weird. Those words hurt Sonhwa even more. Even her granddaughter found her house strange. Don't lie. Eugen likes it here. Likes it? She just pretends in front of adults. She tells me different things. Karen spoke cruelly. Mom, why is grandmother's house so inconvenient? The bathrooms outside, rooms are cold. She says this constantly. Tears welled in Sonhwa's eyes. But she didn't want to cry before her daughter-in-law, fearing further contempt. I'm not dead yet. Sonhwa's voice trembled. I'll protect my house with my own will. Protect it? Karen scoffed. Really, mother? What power does someone living alone have? What power do I have? Yes, what power? You don't have much money, you're old. Please accept reality. Karen's words grew more venomous. What changes if you're stubborn? Eventually when you die, this house becomes ours anyway. When I die? Sonhwa looked at her daughter-in-law incredulously. Yes, when you die. Isn't it better to settle now rather than wait until then? Karen spoke of her mother-in-law's death like a scheduled appointment. Then the front door opened. Minho was entering. Oh? Karen's here? Minho seemed surprised finding his wife alone at his mother's house. You came? Karen's voice suddenly softened. She became a different person before her husband. What's wrong? Why did you come alone? Mother still opposes selling the house, so I came to persuade her. Karen spoke as if doing good work. Really? What does mother say? Minho looked at his mother. Seeing Sonhwa's hardened face, he sensed something wrong. Did something happen? Nothing much. We just had an honest conversation. Karen answered nonchalantly. Honest conversation? Minho looked between his wife and mother. Mother, what did Karen say? Sonhwa hesitated. Should she tell her son exactly what his wife had said? Mother, please tell me. Minho pressed. I need to hear what Karen said. It's nothing. Sonhwa tried to let it pass. Nothing much indeed. Karen interjected. I just spoke factually. Mother seems unable to accept reality. Reality? Minho asked. Yes, mother's old and struggling to live alone. But she's just being stubborn. You called her stubborn? Minho's voice turned cold. You called our mother stubborn? It's true. Karen showed no sign of backing down. You know how stubborn mother is. Sonhwa expected her son to stop his wife. But Minho's reaction differed from expectations. Mother. Minho turned toward his mother. Karen's right. Sonhwa doubted her ears. What? Stop being stubborn. You need to accept reality now. The moment when even her son took his wife's side. You think so too? Sonhwa's voice trembled. Yes, I do. Karen's not wrong. Minho spoke firmly. Mother, what are you doing alone in this big house? Management is difficult. And you must be lonely. Lonely? Yes, you're lonely. That's why we visit frequently to check on you, isn't it? Minho's tone increasingly resembled his wife's. Check on me? Sonhwa laughed bitterly. When have you ever checked on me? We come every holiday. Only holidays? We call regularly too. How many times yearly? Minho couldn't answer because he rarely contacted her. Mother, that's not important. Karen interjected again. What's important is accepting reality. What reality? Sonhwa asked. You're old now and depend on us. At those words, Sonhwa felt strength drain from her body. Depend? Yes, depend. Economically and practically. Karen spoke relentlessly. So why refuse helpful actions? Minho spoke up. Mother, this is the last time. Last time? Yes, we're telling you for the last time. Settle the house. Minho's voice contained coldness indicating no further negotiation. If you continue refusing. If I refuse? We have no choice either. Minho's words bordered on threats. What will you do? There are methods. Karen interjected. Legal methods. Legal methods? Sonhwa couldn't understand the meaning. Minho's a lawyer, so he knows well. If we prove mother can't live independently. Prove what? We can appoint a guardian. At those words, Sonhwa felt her body turn ice cold. Guardian? Yes, guardian. Then we can manage your assets instead. Karen spoke as if everything was already planned. Naturally, we'd prefer not reaching that point. We'd like mother to decide voluntarily. Sonhwa looked at her son, hoping he might stop his wife. But Minho said nothing. Rather, he was nodding. I'm still alive. Sonhwa spoke with a trembling voice. My mind is clear, and I can move my body myself. But mother. No buts. Sonhwa's voice became firm. Whatever you say, I won't sell this house. Mother, why such stubbornness? It's not stubbornness. Sonhwa looked directly at her son. This is my life. My lifetime. Not an object you can dispose of arbitrarily. Karen clicked her tongue. Tisk, so frustrating. What? I said frustrating. You're too obstinate. Obstinate? Sonhwa laughed. I'm obstinate? Yes, obstinate. Behind the times, lacking realistic sense. Karen's words grew rougher. Honestly, people like you don't help society. Don't help society? No, you don't. Inefficient, with no economic value. Then Sonhwa stood. Leave now, mother? I said get out. Anger filled Sonhwa's voice. Both of you, leave. Minho looked at his mother with confusion. Mother, please calm down. Calm down? Sonhwa laughed. Why should I calm down? While hearing words that insult me in my own house? Insult is too strong. If not insult, what? That I don't help society? That I'm inefficient? Sonhwa trembled with rage. How dare you say such things to me? Karen still wouldn't give up. Mother, it's true. If you monopolize such a big house alone. Monopolize? Sonhwa's voice rose. I'm monopolizing my own house? That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. In your eyes, I'm a useless old woman, baggage to be discarded quickly. Sonhwa looked between her daughter-in-law and son. Now I understand how you see me. Minho said hastily. Mother, don't misunderstand. We misunderstand? Sonhwa laughed. Is this misunderstanding? Are all your words misunderstandings? That night, Sonhwa felt humiliated even by her daughter-in-law, whom she'd considered like a daughter. Following her son, even her daughter-in-law didn't see her as human. Several days after the conflict with Sonhwa, Minho and Karen sat quietly talking at home one evening. Yujin was sleeping at a friend's house, leaving only the couple. Mother's more stubborn than expected. Minho said, drinking beer on the sofa. You're a lawyer. Isn't there some legal approach? Karen's eyes turned cold. Legal approach? Yes, legally. For example, if mother had mental problems. That's too extreme, isn't it? Minho said, flustered. Extreme? We're dying here. Karen spoke ruthlessly. She's old and lives alone, it's entirely possible. Minho fell into contemplation. As a lawyer, he wasn't certain such methods were right. But mother has no mental problems. Not now. But we can make documents say otherwise. On paper? You have that psychiatrist classmate, right? Dr. Kim? Karen mentioned a specific name. Kim Sung-ho? Why him? Ask him. Getting one diagnosis isn't difficult. Minho was shocked by his wife's proposal. That's illegal. Illegal how? Mother genuinely struggles living alone. We're medically proving it. Karen tried justifying her plan. Once we become guardians, everything's under our control. But, no buts. Karen's voice became firm. If you won't do it, I will. You will? Yes, I'll investigate directly. Many people specialize in such work nowadays. Minho feared how far his wife might go. Karen, it's too dangerous. Dangerous how? Legally, there's no problem. Karen spoke as if everything was planned. We should secure the seal first. Seal? Yes, we need mother's seal for document processing. How do we get the seal? Minho asked. Simple. You go get it. Me? Yes, tell mother you need it for some paperwork and borrow it briefly. With that excuse? Not an excuse, we're actually processing documents. Karen spoke shamelessly. Won't mother suspect? Even if she does, we must secure the seal first. After securing it, next is the diagnosis. Karen continued explaining. Get psychiatric diagnosis, apply for guardianship, and simultaneously begin property processing. Minho was amazed by his wife's meticulous planning. You've thought everything through. Naturally. Such matters require quick handling. Greed flashed in Karen's eyes. There's one more certain method. What? Put mother in a nursing home. Nursing home? Minho was more flustered. Yes, with psychiatric diagnosis, we can forcibly admit her for protection. That's too what? She's old and struggling alone anyway. Karen showed no remorse. Next afternoon, Karen waited alone at a city cafe. Shortly, a middle-aged man in a black suit entered. Mr. Kim? Yes, correct. Ms. Yoon? Yes. They sat in a quiet corner. About what you mentioned on the phone. The man introduced as Mr. Kim spoke quietly. What type of diagnosis do you need? Psychiatric diagnosis. Dementia or depression? Ah, that's not difficult. Mr. Kim smiled. Many elderly people receive such diagnoses nowadays. Really? Yes, with payment, mental illness diagnoses come easily. Karen's eyes sparkled at his words. How much? Depends on the case. Usually around 10 million won. 10 million? Karen looked slightly surprised. Think it's expensive? But such work has risks. What risks? If problems arise later, things could get complicated. Mr. Kim spoke meaningfully, but we handle everything perfectly, so don't worry. How do you handle it? We have partner hospitals. Real doctors make diagnoses, so legally no problems. Karen felt reassured. When can it be done? 1 week is sufficient. Mr. Kim sipped coffee and spoke carefully. Ms. Yoon, are you interested in more certain methods? More certain methods? Yes, many elderly people have traffic accidents nowadays. Hearing this, Karen shrank back. Of course, such things should never happen. Mr. Kim smiled slyly. But if such unfortunate incidents occurred, all problems would be solved at once. Karen understood exactly what he meant. That's too dangerous. Dangerous, yes, but definitely effective. Mr. Kim placed a business card on the table. Think it over slowly. No rush. Karen pocketed the card. Let's handle the diagnosis first. Then I'll take the down payment. Meanwhile, Sonhwa couldn't shake her anxious feelings for days. She sensed her son and daughter-in-law were plotting something. Particularly suspicious was Minho suddenly calling frequently. The child who normally contacted her less than weekly was now calling every other day. Mother, are you feeling well? I'm fine. Nothing hurts anywhere? Why do you keep asking that? Just worried. But Minho's voice didn't convey genuine concern. Rather, it seemed he was trying to confirm something. Yesterday he even visited. Mother, please lend me your seal briefly. Why the seal? I need it for insurance documents. Why do you need my seal for your insurance? I need to register you as guarantor. Minho's explanation didn't make sense. But despite suspicions, Sonhwa eventually gave him the seal. She couldn't completely distrust her son. However, Minho didn't return the seal immediately. I'll bring it tomorrow. Document processing takes time. That night Sonhwa couldn't sleep. She had an ominous feeling something big would happen. Next morning, Sonhwa searched through old memories for a phone. Number 1 of her students from 20 years ago. Hello? Jaehyuk, it's me. Teacher Lee Sonhwa. Teacher. A delighted voice came through. How are you, teacher? Getting by. How about you? I work as a detective now. Detective? Yes, I quit police work and opened a private detective agency. Park Jae-hyuk was special among her students. Though from a difficult background, he was strong-willed, and Sonhwa had cherished him particularly. Teacher, why are you calling? Jae-hyuk, I have a favor. Sonhwa spoke carefully. Whatever it is, please tell me. Minho, you remember? My son. Of course I remember. He and his wife are acting strange lately. They want me to sell the house, but something seems suspicious. Jaehyuk sensed worry in his teacher's voice. What specifically seems suspicious? They took my seal, keep asking about my health. Seems like they're plotting something. In that case. Jaehyuk's voice became serious. Teacher, shall I investigate for you? Investigate? Yes, I'll look into it secretly. Whether they're really planning something. Sonhwa hesitated momentarily. Suspecting her son wasn't easy. Jaehyuk, but that's. Teacher, this has special meaning for me. Jaehyuk's voice was sincere. Thanks to you, I could reach where I am now. Now I want to help you. Jaehyuk began earnest investigation the next day. First understanding Minho's daily routine. He staked out near Minho's law firm for several days. Minho often left work early and sometimes stopped elsewhere. instead of going straight home. Particularly suspicious was Minho's expression, leaving one cafe satisfied, as if handling important business. After Minho left, Jae-hyuk entered the cafe and asked staff, "Does that man come often?" "Oh, him? He comes frequently lately. Usually meets Mr. Kim." "Mr. Kim?" "Yes, seemed like business discussions." Jae-hyuk staked out several more days for detailed information. Days later, Jae-hyuk began tailing Karen too. She showed more suspicious behavior than Minho. He witnessed her entering and leaving a shabby building in an unfamiliar area. The building housed various offices, mostly suspicious businesses. Jae-hyuk casually asked the building manager, "Where did that woman who entered earlier have business?" "Oh, her? She probably went to Mr. Kim." "What does Mr. Kim do?" "Well, I'm not sure exactly. Seems like document-related work." Jae-hyuk dug deeper. After days of investigation, he discovered shocking facts. Mr. Kim was a fake document broker, specializing in forging various diagnoses and certificates. He confirmed Karen met him multiple times, commissioning something, using connections from his detective days. Jae-hyuk also investigated Minho and Karen's financial records. Results were more serious than expected. Minho owed huge debts from multiple sources, and Karen's business was actually running deficits. More shocking was Karen's connection to loan sharks. She'd already prepared contracts using Sonhwa's house as collateral. "This is completely planned fraud." Jae-hyuk muttered alone. They meticulously planned to steal teacher's house. Jae-hyuk dug deeper, discovering even more shocking facts days later. Jae-hyuk visited Sonhwa a week after starting investigation. "Teacher, this is serious." Jae-hyuk's expression was grave. "Why? What happened?" "Your intuition was right. They were really plotting something." Jae-hyuk showed documents he'd brought. "What's this?" "Teacher, your daughter-in-law is working with loan sharks." Sonhwa's face turned pale. "Loan sharks?" "Yes, and she's preparing contracts to use your house as collateral." Jae-hyuk continued explaining. "She's also trying to create fake psychiatric diagnoses." "Fake psychiatric diagnoses?" "Yes, planning to make you a mental patient and appoint guardians." Sonhwa stared at documents incredulously. "Moreover, your son is involved too." At those words, tears formed in Sonhwa's eyes. "Minho?" "Yes, taking your seal was part of this plan." Jae-hyuk's voice grew heavy. "Teacher, there's something more serious." "More serious?" "I obtained information that the broker suggested more extreme methods." "Extreme methods?" Jae-hyuk hesitated before speaking. "Like traffic accidents." Sonhwa felt her body turn ice cold. Days after learning the shocking truth from Park Jae-hyuk, an unexpected visitor arrived at Sonhwa's home. "Hello, I'm Drive. Lee Sung-min from the psychiatric department," said a middle-aged man in a neat suit, extending his business card. "Psychiatric department?" Sonhwa was puzzled. "I'm here for a health examination of Mrs. Lee Sonhwa. Your son requested a home visit, saying his mother's health has been poor lately." Sonhwa immediately sensed something wrong. When had Minho made such a request? "I'll check with my son first," she said, trying to close the door. "Ma'am, this is a scheduled examination. It won't take long." "I said no." The doctor persisted, legally. "You cannot refuse an examination requested by family." Sonhwa noticed two suspicious men in black suits loitering outside. This was clearly a trap set by Minho and Chai-rin. "I won't be examined. Please leave." As she tried to close the door firmly, the doctor blocked it with his foot. The two men outside began approaching. "Ma'am, please cooperate. Get out. Get out of my house." Sonhwa screamed. Suddenly, car sounds came from outside, followed by footsteps. "Police. Don't move." Police officers burst through the door, with Park Jae-hyuk following behind. "Are you all right?" he asked. Hyuk. Sunhwa sighed with relief. Show your ID, an officer demanded of the fake doctor. I'm a doctor conducting legitimate medical practice. Legitimate? Park Hyuk scoffed. Your medical license was revoked 3 years ago. And those two are ex-gang members. All three were arrested on fraud charges. Meanwhile, at a downtown cafe, another arrest operation was underway. Chai-rin was conducting her final transaction with Mr. Kim. This is really the last step, she said, handing over documents. I've forged mother-in-law's signatures and prepared the medical certificate. As Mr. Kim reached for cash, police stormed in. Police. Hands up. What's happening? Chai-rin panicked. Yoon Chai-rin, you're under arrest for fraud. This is all mother-in-law's doing. She set us up, she screamed hysterically as handcuffs were placed on her. Minho, rushing home after hearing of Chai-rin's arrest, found police waiting for him. Attorney Kong Minho, you're under arrest for attorney law violations and conspiracy to commit fraud. 3 months later, at the formal trial, Sunhwa testified with a trembling voice. Minho is my son. I raised and educated him to become a lawyer. But he used his professional knowledge to deceive his mother. She paused, looking at Minho in the gallery. Minho, was money that important to you? You were blinded by greed and tried to sell out your mother. The prosecutor sought 5 years for Minho and 3 years for Chai-rin. On sentencing day, the judge declared, Defendant Kong Minho is sentenced to 4 years imprisonment and disbarment. Minho's shoulders collapsed. Defendant Yoon Chai-rin is sentenced to 3 years and 6 months imprisonment. Later, Sunhwa visited Minho in detention for their final conversation. Mother, I'm sorry. I was truly insane. I'm sorry for what I did because of money. If you were struggling, you should have told me. Why choose such a method? I have no excuse. When I'm released, I'll start over. Will you wait for me? Sunhwa hesitated. I'll wait, Minho. But things won't be the same. Chai-rin's visit was different. She remained unrepentant. This is all mother's fault. What did I do wrong? Don't you know what you did wrong? We were just trying to survive. After everything ended, Sunhwa stood alone in the Hanok courtyard. With autumn deepening around her. Grandmother, came Yoo-jin's voice from behind. I'm sorry, grandmother. Why are you apologizing? That's adult business. Sunhwa embraced her granddaughter. Now we'll live together, just the two of us. I'll help you, grandmother. Looking at the courtyard together, Sunhwa murmured quietly, family betrayed me in name. But I protected myself to the end. Though wounded, her eyes still held the will to begin anew. In the corner of the yard, new leaves were sprouting on the persimmon tree her husband had planted. Sunhwa and Yoo-jin walked together, waiting for a new season. Though scarred, they still had hope. And the Hanok quietly awaited the beginning of a new story.